Y'all ready for the story time? Here go to story time. The story time. So, like I said, he was born on the 222. 222. So that day, we had went to a doctor's appointment. My wife and I. We had a doctor's appointment with a midwife. And the previous night before the doctor's appointment that we had, my wife was having some contractions, but she wasn't sure if it was like Braxton Hicks contractions or if it was like, legit contractions, but nonetheless, she was in pain, right? And she had even contemplated going to the hospital that night, but I was like, you know what? Why are we going to go tonight? You have a doctor's appointment in the morning. Let's just go to the doctor's appointment, tell them how you're feeling. If they want to admit you at that point, then they could admit you, but let's just wait because, selfishly, I was like, we don't want to be spending 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 hours in labor in the hospital. Like, let's try to get majority of the labor done at home and then go to the hospital. So that was kind of my thought process. So the next morning comes around, right? We go to the hospital, to the doctor's appointment. Just a normal routine doctor's appointment. Because my son was supposed to be due in March. We're still, February, late February. So it's not even really his due date yet. So we just had a regular doctor's appointment. We go there. We're talking. The midwife was actually super cool. The first time I've ever met her before. Not because I wasn't at other appointments, but because that was just the first time that they assigned that midwife to us, And the midwife was like, yeah, I think I don't know how dilated she was. She might have been like 3. I think she's maybe like 3 centimeters dilated. I don't remember how effaced she was. But it wasn't like she wasn't ready to go into labor yet. There was really little concern, right? So the midwife was like, here, do these exercises, go relax, go get a little massage, get your toes done, get your nails done, and just relax. And then the baby will come. And so she went home. She booked a little nail appointment, She got her nails done, got her toes done, all that kind of stuff. And then she came back home. I was here. I don't know what I was doing. But I was here, right? And she gets back and everything's fine. Everything's normal. And then towards the evening time, things start to progress. Now, mind you, we had just went to a doctor's appointment in the morning. And the doctor said, you're not ready yet. The baby could come pretty much any time, but it doesn't really look like it's going to happen now, So just relax and stay off your feet and just, chill, just kick back, reduce your stress. So that evening rolls around. Her contractions go crazy. And I didn't even really know what was happening. But she was in so much pain. I've never seen her like this in my life. Even with our first daughter, she was in pain, but it was nothing like this. So in my head, I'm like, okay, bet. We're going to be going to the doctor, right? We're going to go to the hospital. Clearly, she's having contractions. And you know what I did? Because my back was hurting. And I knew, because I'm already thinking ahead. I'm already, solving problems. I already knew we were going to be in the hospital for a long time. I knew my back was already hurting. So I said, you know what? Let me try to relax my back so that I could be the best husband that I could be. So you know what I did? I got my butt in the tub with some Epsom salt. And I sat in the tub for like 30 minutes. I'm not going to lie to you. Now saying it back, I kind of do feel ashamed. But I had good reason to do that because, yo, I'm trying to heal so that I could be an asset to you. You know, in the airplane where they say, look, if anything happens on the airplane, make sure you get your oxygen mask first, and you suck in your oxygen, and then you could help somebody else. Like, so I was trying to help me so that I could be the best husband for you. That was my thought process. Yeah, if y'all want to roast me in the comments, then go ahead and roast me in the comments. So she's having, so finally, I get out the tub, right? She's bent over the bed, bright red, sweating, just like this, in pain, agony. The worst pain that I've ever visibly seen on a person. At that point, I'm like, all right, let's go. I was like, text your mom, tell your mom to come over here, watch the babies. We got to go to the hospital. So we get to the hospital. As soon as we pull up to the hospital, it's like, what time was it? It's like 9 o'clock at night. As soon as we pull up, we walk into the hospital. It's like a brand new hospital. We walk in. Tell me why there was nobody at the front desk. There was nobody at the front desk. So I have my wife in a wheelchair. I'm kind of freaking out. She's clearly freaking out. And there's nobody at the front desk. And my wife was like, just wait, just chill. Like they're coming. I'm like, no, ain't nobody coming. So I run to the back. Like I'm up in the restricted area of the hospital. I'm waving, flagging people down through the window. Finally, the nurse sees me. She runs out. I'm like, yo, she finna pop. She's like, all right, come here. Come to this room. They take us to the room. They have my wife like bent over, like on hands and knees. Because that's like the only way that she could really be. And the first thing my wife said, she said, I want the epidural. She said it a lot more like aggressive, but I'm gonna spare her that, because that pain, I can't even imagine it. For the level of pain that she was in, she was actually very respectful. If it was me, I probably would have been saying some crazy stuff. But she was very respectful for the amount of pain that she was in. And they were like, you know what? Okay, we're going to try to get you the epidural, but we need to figure out, you know, how far along you are. Like, you know, this, that, and the third. So they're trying to figure it out. And suddenly my wife's like, yo, and we're like in a pre-room. We're not in a real like labor delivery room. We're in a pre-room. And my wife is sitting there like, yo, I need to push. And the nurses are like, yo, don't push. And my wife's like, I need to push. So then they call the doctor. They rush us to the actual labor and delivery room. And my wife is like, yo, I need the epidural. Like, I'm not doing this without the epidural. And the nurse was like, yo, at this point in time, if we give you the epidural, it's a health risk to the baby, because the majority of that epidural is going to transfer to him, because you are so far along in your labor process. Now, mind you, we went to the doctor in the morning. She was like 3 centimeters dilated. You need to be 10 centimeters dilated to give birth. For those of y'all who do not know, she was 3 centimeters dilated. They weren't even tripping at the doctor's appointment. They were not. They were like, yo, I mean, you making some progress, but ain't nothing gonna be happening like today. And now look, we're back at the hospital that same night. And now she's fully there, 10 centimeters, completely effaced. I'm trying to tell y'all, there's no words in my body. There's no expression that I could do with my face that could get you to understand the level of pain that she was in. She said she felt like she was out of her body. That's how much pain she was in. She felt like she was out of her body. Like she couldn't even bear the pain that she literally was just removed from her body because it was so painful. And she keeps asking for the epidural. She's like, I need something. And then finally, she's like, I'm going to push. I'm sitting here freaking out because she's freaking out. And I'm kind of like, but actually, I'm freaking out inside. Inside, I'm freaking out. But on the outside, I'm very like stoic. I'm chilling. But inside, I'm freaking out. And the doctor looks at me and she's like, do you want to help deliver this baby? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, all right, take your sweatshirt off. Because I had like a white sweatshirt on. She's like, take it off. She's like, do you need some gloves? I'm like, no, I don't need any gloves. I'm chilling. Let's go. And some of y'all might think that's gross, but bro, it's my wife and my son. Like, I'm chilling. I don't need, let me wash my hands and let me go in there. Anyway. My wife says she needs to push. In the middle of this pain, I'm standing like up by her head. And she's like, I need to push. But she's like, I don't know if I can do this because of the pain. I don't know if I can do this. In that moment, I literally said, Jesus, you be her epidural. I kept saying it. I said, Jesus, you be her epidural. You be her epidural. You be her epidural. Jesus, you help her with this pain. You bear this pain, Jesus. You be the solution. You be the drug right now, Jesus. As soon as I said that, she pushes one time. His head comes out. The doctor looks at me, tells me to come over here. I come down to, where the action is. And the doctor was like, all right, look, when you see shoulders, I want you to scoop under the shoulders, pull them up, put them on mama. I said, okay. I was terrified, but what am I going to do? Like, not deliver my son? You know what I'm saying? The second push, his whole shoulders came out. I'm just like seeing red. I'm like, bruh. I go in there, scoop. I look at him. He's cute. Babies low-key look like aliens, like low-key, like when they first come out. But he was a cute little alien. And I'm like, oh, crap. Let me not drop him. So I put him on my wife. Literally 2 pushes. This happened right after I prayed. She said, I don't know if I can do this. The pain is too much. I don't think I could do this and go through this without any, epidural. I prayed. I said, Jesus, you be the epidural. Boom. I need to push. 1 push, his head. 2 push, shoulders, he's out. This all happened in a matter of about 27 minutes. From the time we got to the hospital to the time he was born, it all happened in about 27 minutes. I put our son, Jeremiah, on my wife. And that's a funny story too, because the nurse was like trying to do the birth certificate and she was like, what's his name? And at first, like, I just acted like I was like deaf. I didn't even respond. And my wife was just looking at me because my wife was like, you're going to pick the name. So my wife didn't say nothing. She's just looking at me. I'm just over here just like scratching like my temple and stuff. And then she left and the nurse came back. She was like, what's his name? And I was like, I really wanted to name him Isaiah, but something in me in that moment would not allow the name Isaiah to come out of my mouth. And I said, I know what that feeling is. I said, Jeremiah. It's so crazy, bro. As soon as my wife gave birth, she was up walking around. Let me put this in perspective. For our daughter, after my wife gave birth, she was on so much epidural, she couldn't feel the bottom half of her body. She could not walk around for like a good couple days. And when she was walking around, like she needed a lot of help. A lot of help. She couldn't go to the bathroom by herself. But now this time around, 10 minutes after she gave birth, she was walking around and going to the bathroom like nothing happened. And it's crazy because my wife and I were talking, and like earlier in the pregnancy, my wife was like, I would love to do this naturally. Like I would love to give birth with no drugs, but I just don't know if I could do it. And it's crazy because we were talking about it, and I was like, you know what? God heard you when you said that you wanted to do it naturally, and he gave you exactly what you wanted. And I think it's a blessing because like the way that she feels now is 1,000 times better than the last time. And it's so crazy because the amount of pain that she was in, I thought she was going to pass out. I thought she was going to pass out. And that's why I'm sitting there praying in that moment, because I really thought like, bro, she finna check out. Like the amount of pain that she was in, there was like 5-6 people in the room trying to comfort her, trying to calm her down. And I'm like, bro, she finna check out. And then I'm like, bro, the only thing that I can do, I felt so helpless. And then I realized like, wait, Jesus, help us. You be the epidural. You take the pain. You be the epidural. You help us, please, in this moment, Jesus. I kept saying it. Finally, she's like, I need to push. 1 push, 2 push, he's out. Feels amazing, feels incredible. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I've never experienced anything like that before. Like never in my life. I'm trying to tell y'all. Okay. And also, let me just say this. The amount of joy that I have felt in these past few days, it's been so incredible. And even just seeing my daughters and how much love they have for their brother, it's been so incredible to see. It's been so incredible. It's such a blessing to have children. It's such a blessing to have a family. And I'm reminded of that every single day. And it's so incredible. It's so incredible.